So this weekend, I SBR'd my PS90, and this is how it came out. It came out great. However, in the process of doing this, I learned a lot of things, and one of these things is really, really important. And while I was learning all this, I didn't see any of it explained in other videos, so I just figured, hey, I'll just go make my own video explaining this. So this is more of a tips and tricks type of video. If you want like a full-on installation, there are already several videos out there of how to do so. So I'm not going to go waste your time with it. But if there's only one thing that you get out of this video, it is just cut your barrel behind this pin. If you watch a lot of these install videos, they'll go explain how there's this blind pin right here. So what they say is oh yeah, try to find where it comes out on the other side, drill it, then push it out. And this was true about 10 years ago. However, sometime the next 5 years or so, what FN started doing is they actually started fusing the flash hider onto the barrel shroud. So as a result of that, what you do is you see people trying to go SBR it the old way, and what will happen is there's actually a picture on Reddit of some guy who actually bent his receiver trying to go get this off just by drilling it. Then there was another video I watched while I was learning all this on YouTube of a guy where he actually broke his flash hider and his barrel shroud right here. So what was happening is while he was spinning and trying to take off his barrel, his flash hider was actually coming along with it. So this is the old way of doing things. So if you have an old PS90, could you just do it the old way where you drill it? Sure. How do you know if you have an old PS90? Well, you don't. And here's the other thing here. So the MSRP on a PS90 is about $2,000, but you can get them closer to $1,500. Your tax stamp was another $200. A brand new CMMG SBR barrel is going to run you about a little less than $400. So it is not worth it to try to preserve your factory barrel with your PS90 and potentially nuke your gun than it is just to cut the thing. And so this is how this works. So in an SBR configuration, the barrel's right here, and it threads onto the receiver via this adapter right here. Because of that, it's a free float barrel, so to speak, because it's not actually secured to the receiver. So here's where it twists on. Then the factory configuration, this sits right here, and then this threads onto over here. So what I'm getting at here is even if you try to preserve your barrel best you can, the shroud is still needed for it to function in its current configuration, and you are going to damage the shroud when you drill this, therefore making the shroud unusable. And here's the other thing with that. So even if you drill this and get it out, due to this, your threads are still going to be fairly damaged, and it's still going to be unusable. So what I did is I was able to use a bandsaw and get very, very clean cuts here. But the thing is it's still not usable, so it wouldn't have really made a difference if I actually drilled the pin on that. And then let's be real, like a gunsmith is going to charge you probably around $200 to go cut this down and then rethread it, which is what is going to be needed if you want to preserve it. Because like I said, in its current way, even if you drill the pin and do it that way, you are still not going to be able to use it that way. And I'm not going to pay a gunsmith $200 to go cut this down and rethread it. What's probably gonna most likely realistically happen is I'm just gonna go throw this in a box above my closet and forget that it's even there. If you can afford enough 5.7 to shoot out a PS90 barrel, you can afford to just go ahead and buy a new barrel. You aren't going to be trying to cut corners by preserving this barrel. So, guys, I hope this was helpful. Long story short is just cut your barrel. Trying to drill it and preserve it isn't really worth it. And like I said, in the newer PS90s, which is probably what you have if you're doing this now, the barrel, their flash hider, is actually fused onto the barrel. Even if you drill it, it will just spin independently with it, and you will potentially nuke your gun doing that. Don't do it, just cut it, and I hope this was helpful to you guys. Thanks.